Host.
Good evening, everyone. God bless you. Thank you for joining.
Evening.
Had a technical there for a few seconds. Okay. I remain Ekene Modupe Adeniji, as you all know. I believe you all had a good evening. We'll try and see if we can make this one a brief one, hopefully. We say that every time, but we end up staying for a very long time. I have my guest on. Yes. And that is no other person than my beautiful ebony sister, Miss Anna Adepotujo. God bless you. Thanks for joining.
Good evening, ma. Thank you for having me.
We want to talk about will. I think that's a straightforward thing. What a will is, what an inheritance is. It's basically about what you leave for your family, for your loved ones when you pass on. So we want to look at that. An inheritance is what is being left, what people benefit from. Maybe your house, landed property, money, assets, estates. That's an inheritance that you leave for people to use, to manage, and the rest of it. So we want to look at that and other things we can do. You know, I mean, things are evolving. It's not like in the days where it's only landed property you can leave as an inheritance. And it's not only about cow, goats, and stuff you can leave as an inheritance for your family and loved ones. There are other corners we can, play around with, which is life insurance. That's one of it. And Sister Anna, being a lawyer, will also be able to take us through some of these things and the legal part of it. Also, we're looking at power of attorney. Why am I bringing power of attorney into it? Yeah, this was something that happened to a friend of mine who the husband died. And up to now, she's still struggling to get her hands into the husband's asset because he did not leave a will. And there's lots of money in his account before he passed on. But then the wife can't get hold of it. So they still finding ways around it and looking for a family lawyer on how to, to take money from it and be able to look after the family. And those are the things we want to talk about. What can you use as a power of attorney so that in case you do not have a will and something happens, how do we go around all these things? So to start with, even as a Christian, is it important? Is it necessary for us to have a will? So I want us to start with that. Do we need a will? Or do we just leave things to chance as it goes? I mean, I'm working, my wife is working, so I don't really need a will. Or my children, they are, especially in this part of the world, they are also working. They don't need my money. They don't need any inheritance from me. What is your view on this? Do we need to make a will? Anyone wants to help me on this? Do we need a will at all? Anyone apart from Sister Anna? Do we need a will? We have men there. It's for men and women, but it's the focus is more on men, from where we are coming from, to have a will, to make a will, just in case something happens to them, so that their family will be taken care of. So men, come on, let's talk. Do you need?
Why is it the men?
No, it's not just men, but I'm saying mostly the focus is on men as the family, as the breadwinner.
Well, the question you asked, as a Christian, yeah, it is good to have a will, because according to the scripture, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22, it said, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. So when he's talking about the children. Well, to me, yeah, it is good for any man in general to leave a will.
Thank
But
you.
the way we look, the way we look at things is going now. You know, especially where we came from.
Mm.
It's just sad sometimes when you hear that a man in a family died and the children he left behind, or the wife he left behind, they're being suffer for them to get. I think this is too common, and especially before, you know, let me just put it that way. It is good to leave a will, because if you don't leave a will as a man, once you're gone, people don't even know the way you suffer, or how you and your woman you suffer when you acquire all these things, or when you acquire your empire. If that's when you started knowing that you are related to you that has already gone, that's when some family are coming. They will just be
Making
telling that
claims.
their claims as if they are entitled to what you have. Yeah, it is good, but we need to understand one thing. Because of where we came from, I'm not talking about the Western world now. Now we are in UK. We can see it in a different way. Where we came from. Don't remember that we should all remember that we have a culture as well. Because when we are talking about a will, in where we came from, once the man died, the wife too, they can will the wife to the junior brother of that person.
That is,
So
wow. Okay, that's another angle.
It's part of a will. So, and when we are talking about this will, that's why it's very, very important, unless the man state it out. It was written somewhere, because you are talking about the power of attorney. Unless the man is stated out that when I'm gone, every of my property, because like the Bible says, a good man will leave inheritance for his children. He has to share it accordingly. Maybe 70% go to my wife and my children. The remaining 30%, 15% go to my father's side, 15% go to my mother's side. But in general, men should put their house in order.
Thank you very much. God bless you for that one. So my next question would be, when we're talking about a will, we all pray to live long. We all pray to you know, I mean, nobody wants to die young. We want to be like 80, 90, 100, even Methuselah. So when we talk about writing a will, when do you think we should start writing a will? At what age can we start writing a will? Anyone at all? Sister Anna, if you want to come in.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
So there's no particular age in which an individual should decide to write a will. What it is that when you start having things that you know people can fight over, when you start having things of value, accumulating things of value, that is when you need to write a will. Somebody of 25, 30 years, 22 years in this country and even in Nigeria, they own big houses worth millions. Some here even own 2 or 3 or 4 houses. I know a particular girl, she's 29. I think she owns 9 houses in this country.
Oh, wow.
So are you going to tell me because of her age, she shouldn't write will? If anything was to happen to her tomorrow, where would those properties go to? So because of peace of mind, one should write a will. And when I say peace of mind, I mean people tend to behave normal when there's no money. You have to have in order to see someone's true character, is when there's money involved, when there's a lot of money involved. And that is when you will see people's true color. So a lot of cases that are in court today, especially family courts, and it's just families, mothers and children fighting over property. They're forgotten that they are mother and child and they love each other. No. This is now about money, property. So when you start having things of value, you need
to make notes and begin to write things down.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Prince D.
I have a question to ask.
Yes.
Since we have My beautiful sister.
Is he on who should write a will?
No, I have a question to
We'll
ask.
We'll get there so that I don't lose my thoughts.
Okay.
Yes, because she may end up answering your questions as we go along. According to law and criteria for writing a will, anybody that is above 18 years old is an adult can write a will. And also what Sister Anna said, if you have assets, you're going to write a will. And to write a will is not even that expensive, even as low as £49.99, 150, £20, you can even get some deal, in writing a will. The will is different, and then you pay your solicitor, and then it depends on the country where you are. So find out from the country where you reside, about your will. Now, for instance, we have this musician, what's his name? It was this popular name, is it Hallelujah, or they call him Imole. No, I mean, I'm sure Imole never dreamt that he would die. But there's so many stories coming up now about his assets, that he has this, he has that. There's a fight over this. He has this label, There's so much controversy going on. And he has a wife, he has a child. But if he had thought of, okay, let me make a will. Okay, I don't pray to die, but let me just do it just in case. A lot of problem will have been solved. People will know what he is, what he has, what he doesn't have, and how things should be managed. That will save the wife all this DNA problem. All this DNA thing is all because of money. All that will have been solved. Again, the importance of writing this will, after every 5 years, you can revisit it. The more the Lord gives you the grace to be alive, you revisit the will, make adjustment. Maybe you have sold one of your property, you take it out of the equation. Maybe you have new things, you add it to it. Or maybe your wife, if you're separated, and you put her as a next kin before, you can change all that. And then revisit it, re-edit it. So because you've written your will, that doesn't mean it's over, it's sealed, it's done, it's dusted, and you can revisit it at any time, and correct things, add things, and subtract as you go on in life. And then this takes me to the third question. How do we see the importance of life insurance relating to when we talk about assets? Now we're talking about will. I have this land, I have this car, I have this property, and this is the way I want it to be managed. What about life insurance? Do we also see that as something that as an inheritance that we can leave? Sister Anna.
Yeah, good evening. I wanted to just say something about the will.
Yeah.
If you've written a will and you're not yet married, immediately you get married, that previous will becomes invalid. So you're going to need to write another will once you get married. So that is because you have now become, two have become one. So the other one will no longer be valid. So okay. Add that. So your question, I can't remember your question. You said your question was
on life insurance. How do we relate it to inheritances and will?
Life insurance, it really depends on the kind of life insurance you set up. A lot of life insurances, it literally depends on obviously who dies first between the two, and would allow you to know who's going to benefit and who's not going to benefit. The people that usually they set up life insurance for is for the children of the person. Those are the people they set up life insurance for. There's life insurance for if you catch cancer,
health issues.
Yeah, for health issues, and the healthier you are, the lower your life insurance will be. And if you have maybe a high BMI, or you're a smoker or drinker, your life insurance the payment tends to be higher. And sometimes if you don't die in a particular country where you set up the life insurance, sometimes it can be invalid. I know people who have traveled to Nigeria, died there, and then they refused to give them the life insurance.
That's not fair.
Yeah, imagine you've been paying for 30 years. You've just paid for no reason. So, it's very important. Even when we make life insurance, we know all the terms and conditions.
I need to go and double check mine. Seriously, that's not fair. That's not right.
I know that they call me sometimes to check on me, and they tell me if everything is still the same. So I think I'd put on weight, and they were like, they cannot insure me anymore.
Oh, wow.
And fair enough, because I prefer that than for me to pass away and you say you never knew she was that weight, so you're not paying out. So then all the money I've paid will now be...
So did they not return the previous money or what?
They don't return money.
So they've insured you up to that point and that's it?
That is it.
Is it even with that question mark? Is it still worth an investment?
I won't say life insurance is an investment, but I think it's necessary. And a lot of the people, especially the white people, you see them, most of the wealth or the businesses they have, they started it with life insurance from their parents.
Mm-hmm.
That gave them a stepping stone in life. So it's not that these people are born with a silver spoon. Most of them are not born with a silver spoon. They just do the right things at the right time. See it as a priority. Whereas a lot of Black individuals do not see it as a priority. They don't even want to talk about it. They don't want to address it.
It's like deja vu. I don't want to die, so let's not even go there.
And one thing someone said to me one time is that in the Black community, especially in America, the way they kill each other all the time, they said if those people have life insurance, all of them, they will find a way to reduce the way they are killing each other because they will know they'll have to be paying out. Do you understand? Because if you look at the death rate there, it's very, very high. We are seeing every day road rage. Someone gets angry. You drove in front of me. The next thing, they take a gun and they're shooting each other. So I think life insurance is very, very important, especially if you have children. And especially if you have a wife. It helps a lot. It's like building your generation. You're built already. It's like getting free money, because I think it's better for you to die and then your family benefit than for you to die and then they go into
poverty. There's nothing, zero.
Yeah, and then they go into poverty and they start begging on doing GoFundMe. I mean, a lot of people that do GoFundMe, I just look at them and say, why didn't they do a will? I mean, not a will, what you call it, do life insurance.
At least their burial is sorted and all that.
Everything,
whatever is left, the children can use it to start up life.
Exactly. So I think it's something that really needs to be addressed in the community, the benefits of it. But people doesn't want to do things that will benefit them while they are still alive. And I think as a man or a woman, if you really love your children, apart from giving them a good education and setting them up maybe with a child trust fund, I think the next best thing to do is to do a life insurance.
Thank you very much. Prince D, you want to come in?
Yes. Thank you very much, my dear sister, for the explanation. The question I actually want to ask is, I think I quite understand what you're talking about concerning life insurance, which is good, honestly. But to me, the way it sounds sometimes, it sounds as if the man has to be the one to do life insurance. But you've already said that either both men and women, they have to do it because of their children, which is fine, which is fantastic. But if we look at it, this way, in other way, the way I look at it, most men, when you talk to them about life insurance or you talk to them about a will, the first thing that will come to our mind is, they want me to die for me. Exactly. Even though me myself, I will do exactly the same thing. I will, as a human being. But honestly, it's something that is good. Now, I want to pick, you said something about a lady, she's 29 years old. And she has
sorry.
The network is. Okay, somebody who have 9 houses at the age of 29, if she has a man, will that idea comes to her mind that she should go and do a will, that because she has a man? Or somebody, I'm not saying maybe somebody should have to tell her. Do you think she would think about that in the first place? Now, I have a man now, I'm married, I'm 29, I'm rich, I have a lot of businesses. Do you think as a human in general, with that age, do you think that person, she will have that in back of her mind that she has to do a will and she has to put the will in accordance? Probably if the man is not even up to her. So that's my question to.
Okay, anybody wants to help with the question?
Yeah, sorry, I can help a little bit with the question. Her doing a will doesn't have to be because of a man. She probably has parents. She has siblings. She has cousins, and sometimes it just takes something small to happen for her to realize maybe I should do, or maybe a close friend died. Maybe somebody died at birth, and and she's thinking, oh, what if that happens to me? What will happen to my things? It's not necessarily because of a man that you do a will. You can just think to yourself, I don't want there to be any problems if I go. So let me just do this. And it's something that they can, if she has a man, it's different from if she has a husband. If she has a man,
let's put it in the figure of a husband.
So okay, if she has a husband, then it's something that they can sit down to talk about and then decide to put it in the will. And then that can determine what happens. But generally speaking, if the man takes over for most of the properties when she dies, because they are seen as the next of kin, so that's what generally happens. But if she feels that she doesn't want that to happen, she might as well have a will and specifically say, these are the things I want to happen to my property. And that will override the fact that the man will just take over straight after she dies.
And vice versa, the man can do the same.
So man can do exactly the same thing, even though they have children together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, one good coins, you can't flip the coin to one side and say it's not good for the other side, but then it is naturally expected as a breadwinner, as a head of the family, that you look after your family. It is the wife is your helpmate to help you. Okay, so in an ideal marriage, all these things should be discussed together. There should be an agreement together. What do we do? How do we go about this? But if I understand from all I have seen in my little age, most women don't even know if their husband has made a will or not. It's kept in secret.
Can I come in?
Yes, please.
Right. So from experience and obviously from people around me, what normally happens is you either have a joint one, which covers both the husband
and the wife
as beneficiaries. So whoever dies first, the other
that is for a will or for insurance?
I'm talking about life insurance now.
Okay.
Or you can both have individual ones, and with the individual ones, you have the option to nominate who the beneficiaries are. You also have the option to nominate in terms of the percentage how it's distributed. This is still life insurance.
Okay.
So you can do that. You have the option to either allow the automatic next of kin or choose nominations in terms of how it's divided, among who's divided, in what percentages. So these options are all there. So it's really not complicated. So you can have it as a joint, or you can have it as two separate ones.
Interesting. That's interesting. Thank you for the clarification. Prince D, is your question answered?
Yeah, thank you very much for that clarification.
Okay. Now, still back on life insurance. I think life insurance is sorted, but I still want to go a bit deep in it. For instance, a man has his life insurance, and then the woman also has life insurance. Maybe they have it separately before they get married, and they both can decide if they want to keep it separately, and they can both decide if they want to bring it together. It's up to them. It's all about what is at play. Like I said, ideal relationship, ideal marriage, ideal home. But you also have homes that they have different priorities, different stories. So you also have to play things with and be smart about what you're doing. Be honest to yourself, be honest to your partner on what you're doing without having any surprises at the end of the day. Let's look at power of attorney. How do we play around power of attorney? The explanation of Sister Anna. Do you want to help us with that?
Yeah. Once again, there's different kind of powers of attorney. I'll start with the limited power of attorney. So the limited power of attorney, basically, it just means that you yourself have lost capacity to make decisions on your own. Either maybe you might suffer from dementia, Parkinson's disease, stroke, brain injury, alcohol misuse, drug misuse. These kind of things will allow you to hold on. Sorry, hold on. Get on. Yeah, to appoint somebody to have a power of attorney.
Just in case something happens.
Yeah, so at that point in time, you are okay. So down the line, you're thinking, I might suffer from this within the next 6 months, or within the next 5 months, or within the next year. Maybe you have been diagnosed with something. So then you can go and get a donor, somebody that can help, and have power of attorney over maybe your health and your welfare, or on your property and your finances. So the limited power of attorney, as I was saying before, is only on specific issues. So it's maybe about property, or some decisions about maybe investments, or maybe your health, how you want to be treated. It's specific. They don't have power to have any of your money or control your finances. Whatever you want them to do, you have to really go into detail about how you want a person to treat your property, yourself, or your investment. So that was the limited power of attorney. Then we now have a lasting power of attorney. This one, it comes into the, as I said, property and financial, or health and welfare. So that the property one and the finance one, the person controls the bank accounts, the investments, the bills. So all the bills the person has to incur on a daily basis, your health bills, everything pertaining to finance is about that. And then the health one is about decisions about your health and your care. Maybe you go into a care home, maybe you'll be taking care of at home, and you'll be having carers coming to the house. It depends on also the equipment that you use. So these are the reasons why people get power of attorney. And it can be applied for online, .gov.uk. They have a form called LP2. So once you get that form LP2, fill it in. It takes about 3 weeks. So you have to submit it to the Office of Public Guardian, and they will sort it out within 3 weeks. And then also a solicitor will be present, and they will decide whether or not they will allow you to be the attorney. And you also have to be over 18 And you also yourself have to have the mental capability
at the
to do
time.
all those things. And sometimes people who go and try and do it, sometimes they themselves, they are bankrupt. And so they are thinking, if you are bankrupt, how are you going to manage somebody else's finances? So that can be declined. If you yourself cannot manage yourself, there's no way you can manage somebody else. And they can decline it on that basis. So you know, and the reason why it's important to have, hold on, wait, just wait there. The reason why it's also very important to have one is because if you have a joint account with somebody and you know you don't have a power of attorney, you yourself may lose your money inside that account. Yeah. So it's very important you get one, especially when things start to go wrong and you can see maybe your partner is starting to be on drugs, they cannot control themselves, maybe they have a gambling addiction. It's a very, very good idea to start thinking of how to separate your things, because you can end up losing your pension, your benefits, and all sorts of things, money that you collect, because you will not have, you know,
you lose the right to them.
Yeah.
Can I ask quickly, what's the difference between having a solicitor that manages your will and how your assets and everything is being divided, and power of attorney?
For me, I think the difference is the solicitor might not be looking at the best interest of that person. And that person must also trust the solicitor 100% that this person will do something to my taste and handle my money properly. And not who is going to trust as just a solicitor with everything pertaining to them? Because they work for money. So their job is, you know, profit-based. It's not fair for individuals. So, you know, in that case, the court on that basis does not think it will be in the best interest of that person to use a solicitor. So all in all, the decision will be made, and there will be checks and balances to see whether it makes sense for the solicitor to do that or whether it doesn't.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Do we think I'm throwing this to the whole house now? For husbands, do you think your wife, your sister, and to all the women in the house, do you think as women we also can make a will? I mean, our husband is doing his will, and then you also a hardworking woman, you have assets and stuff like that. Is it okay to make a will? If as a wife, I decided to make a will, won't my husband, so I'm throwing this to the men, be upset, like, why are you making a will and all that? Let's make a discussion on that. What's your view of a woman making a will? Come on, men. EC, Big Chief, Prince D, Ebenezer, OB.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I joined slightly late, but I think I'm following up. I think it's
you're on
going
point.
really well. The lady who spoke earlier said some nice things, and if we go to the will, before we go to the will, life insurance, I think it should be necessary for all of us because we are not going to live forever. That is basic common sense. Number two, one of the problems we don't talk about is I always talk about economic issues. Some men are struggling to feed the house, then they tell them to put money aside. So that's a different story for another day. Number three, I think I have a friend who did life insurance, and when he had the money that is supposed to come when he's dead, is more money that they have when he's alive. He started looking, this woman, she will see me important alive too. So it's deeper than just saying, I'm just trying to wrap up everything. And we talked about don't keep secret and on keep secret. I don't know how to say it, but some people keep it down. If not, sometimes even your children might even misbehave if they hear what is in the bank waiting. So most real traditional men, when I call traditional men, I call about the Abrahamic men, they always keep quiet and just look. And the child or the spouse will filter themselves out. They know that this is my successor. They don't just pick Now, when you talk about will, it's in our African sense, it is always assumed that it's the man that will make will, as if it is written somewhere that he would die first. You know, some people lose their children before the parents. The real thing is, if they have joint properties, they could make will jointly. If they have individual properties, they could make will individually. The man too has, let's say I have 3, 4, 5 sons. I think son number 5 would represent me more. I could make the will pointing to son number 5. The woman might think son number 2 would represent her more in certain properties or certain assets. She could make it that way. That's what I think. And sometimes, most times, is to come together and speak about the will, and you make it. That's what I think. But that the two of them have to make a will, is my own opinion.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any other contribution from anyone? A different view on women having a will, making a will? So
a will can be made by whoever is responsible for the possession. A will is basically assigning out what you own to somebody to take over. So it doesn't matter. It just depends on who owns them or who's responsible for them. And obviously, if it's a joint one, then both of you have to be in decision to decide where it goes. And with regards to life insurance, if you actually have large investments, properties, assets, you might not actually need life insurance because that's your life insurance effectively. So it will become more important in that scenario. The life insurance is when you don't have perhaps much to live and you put in this money aside through life insurance to secure them. For example, to secure the mortgage, to secure their property. But rich men that have a lot of money, a lot of wealth, a lot of assets, don't bother with life insurance because their property, their assets, their whatever they own is the life insurance. They just do a will. So let's not mix the two together. So it depends on where you are in life financially.
Thank you very much. That's another clearer window there. So as much as we're looking at life insurance, be helping the family, depends on where you are financially. That's a good one. Now, looking at all these things together, I'm still on the woman. Like Prince D said it, Big Chief also mentioned it, like, who says it's the man that's going to die first? It's okay in an ideal home where you can come, even in an ideal home, actually, you all can come together and bring your finances together and plan your will together. Big Chief said something about the Abrahamic fathers who don't tell you nothing because the child can misbehave. The woman can say, okay, I know what this man is worth, and I know maybe half of the will is coming to me, or all of them are coming to me, or probably he's willed most of the things to the second wife, and then they're going to plan how the man is going to die to change this. A lot of things can happen. So that is why a lot of men keep it secret. Okay. Now, we cannot overlook that. But now let's look at it from another angle. That they're not, you want to come together, like Issa said, Big Chief also mentioned it, to agree. Now, this is what we have. How do we plan this? Who do we leave this for? Who should handle this? You know, when you agree that it's beautiful, it's done. In a place where you cannot agree, where it is not a situation where Peter is doing Peter, Paul is doing Paul, the husband has his own assets, the wife has his own assets, and they are not working in a sync, you know, and the man has his own will, and then the wife also decide, I need to also have a will because I don't know what this man is doing, and my property is my property, his property is his property. Does that make any sense? How do you create a balance in such a situation, if what I'm saying makes sense at all?
Yeah, the sync side, personally, I am a strong advocate for a woman with oil in her head. If my missus comes to me and says she wants to have a property, I'll say go ahead. If she says she wants some money to add to the property, I'll say go ahead, because it takes skills to manage the property. So I would like somebody who is that skillful to be my armor bearer. So sometimes it's not as easy and straightforward as we say. Okay, there's a story a lecturer said to his class. I'll say it quickly. I'll try to rush it. And a man and a woman, husband and wife, were in a cruise ship, and this ship was sinking like the Titanic. And there was a lifeboat to save them. And there was one space in the lifeboat, and the man jumped into space, and the boat was going, and the woman was screaming, sinking with the ship. In her last breath, she said something to the man, and nobody heard what she said. And he asked the class, "What do you think she said?" People were having a go and
Recording
saying,
in progress.
God is a useless man. He should have left that space for his wife. But at the end of the day, what the woman actually said is, take care of our 3 daughters, because they already know she has terminal cancer and she's going to go. So if he puts her on the lifeboat, she will still go anyway. So now they came to an agreement and say, you go so you can take care of the daughter. So it's critical, it's technical, it's not that straightforward. You understand? So I think if the woman wants to make her will, it's fine. If the man wants to make his will, it's fine. You understand? So long as it will still converge in front to make a better family. You understand? Because it's not easy for you to tell a woman, don't do anything, I will do everything. How will she cope? You understand? What will be happening in her head? So she has to do her own thing if she wants to. It's part of building, because at the end of the day, it will still boil down to the same pot. That is the trick. It will come down to the same thing. The children she has are your children. The children you have are her children. So we're dancing around, but we'll still come back to the same place.
Hello, can I add to that, please? On the issue of the will, even though you write a will, it doesn't mean exactly what you've written in that will is going to happen, because we forget that the courts are there and wills can be contested at any time. A lot of wills, they have clauses. Some people, they have a will where they say, oh, I want my son to get 60% of my wealth when he gets married and a child. They put some clauses in there. Let's just say that child is now gay and he's not going to get married. That child is going to want to fight for his own part of, the inheritance.
The inheritance.
And these can go on for years, and everything that's in the will might not even be what that person wanted. But the court has to look at it and say, okay, what was the idea behind it?
So you think now the court can interfere in will?
In any will.
Oh, wow.
Any will. Because a lot of things happen. Let's just say this person has 5 children. Along the lines of maybe he was 70 plus, 80 plus. Only one of his kids were, looking after him, feeding him. And the rest of the 4 have moved to Australia. They don't call, they don't visit, they don't send money, and he can think in his mind, I don't think I'm going to give those people anything anymore, because when I need them the most,
they were not there.
They are not there no more. And he can tell that person, I'm going to give everything to you. But somewhere along the line, this might not have been written down. And so they have to look at words of mouth. Did he actually say this? Because that can also be used in court as binding.
If there are witnesses, though.
Yeah, if there are witnesses, if he said it to some people, or if they can see a train of, evidence that shows that you haven't called this guy, you have not visited. And, if nobody contests it, it's fine. But if that one child decides to contest it, that is it. It could take 5, 6, 7 years to sort it out. And he might end up getting everything. Or it might be that those kids will actually get something. So even if you write a will, it doesn't mean it's definite. People contest wills all the time. Some parents don't give their kids money straight after, because they might feel like if they have the money, they are not mature enough to spend it well. So they say, oh, when he has been married for 5 years, I want him to have so and so and so and so. And then that person might say, nope, I can have it now. I'm okay.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's why it's good to have a lawyer. I never knew that.
anything can be contested. You know, sometimes people have invested a lot of money fixing their parents' house, and then they'll now go and will it to somebody else. The person will be like, sorry, I spent £40,000 renovating this house. I want my money back. I want to have some of the money that I put into this house. Then the onus is now on you to bring evidence that you done it in order to get money back, or you done it as a favor, or as a gift, or because you loved your dad. So those are the cases that are flooded in the courts.
Wow, life is so diverse. So I understand where it can be contested, because there are different stories, different scenarios, different reasons to everything, and it has to be looked at from different perspectives. Wow, that's an eye-opening.
I mean, last week, an old woman, they wanted to fix her house. She was 90 years, and they said the daughter should come and stay with her for a few hours, let them fix the second room. And the daughter said she has 2 new puppies. And so she cannot come and stay with her mother for a few hours.
But she can stay with the puppies.
Yeah, she see the puppies are just new, so she cannot leave the puppies for her mother.
She can't take them along.
And she can't take them along because they haven't been vaccinated.
Wonderful.
So that kind of thing, we leave anything for that child.
Jesus is
Lord. Change the will that particular day. Your dogs, you go and inherit from your dogs.
Wow. Do we have any question, any addition from anyone at all? Sister Anna, check your notes. Anything left in there that we have not touched?
Yeah, we haven't touched.
That's why Abraham threw in. Abraham just threw away that same day.
We haven't touched on the benefits of marriage.
Yes. Go on.
So there's a lot of benefits of marriage, especially when you have just married. You're allowed to exchange assets and accounts and within each other for no cost. You're allowed to file in your income together as one. So when you do it separately, like your
income support, yeah.
When you're doing your taxes separately, you are paying more money. When you do it jointly, you save a lot of money.
What do you mean tax, as in tax how? Like
your income tax, like your tax returns and stuff like that. Let's just say maybe you guys are self-employed or own businesses.
Okay.
File your tax returns. You can do it jointly.
Okay, so doing it jointly saves you more money.
Yeah, it saves you more money.
Okay.
Jointly.
Sister Anna, sorry to pause you. I hope you're also going to address the disadvantage of marriage in that same scenario.
No, okay. I'm not going to address the disadvantages because
we should.
Because there are major disadvantages as well. Let's just look at both angles.
Probably when it comes to divorce. That's where more of the disadvantages come from. Apart from the fact that maybe as a single mother, you might get some sort of benefit, and when you're married, your husband is earning X amount, you will not be entitled to that kind of money anymore. You have to rely on him for, his money and share. Apart from those two, I don't really see where the.
I'll give you a very good one.
I can't hear you well,
I said I will give you a very good one.
Okay.
I've got a friend that got married to someone, and then years down the line, the marriage didn't work. The lady moved out of the house. But whilst they were together, he bought a house, which she didn't even have a penny in. She didn't even pay a bill. She didn't pay absolutely nothing all through whilst they were in property until she left. Now, comes divorce. She's legally entitled to that property.
Yep.
She's legally entitled to go to the land registry and put her name on the property that she doesn't even have a penny involved in.
Which is unfair.
Well, it would be unfair, but unfortunately, that's the law. And could be a disadvantage. But like she rightly said, these things happen during divorce.
Yeah, those are just divorce. That's why I said this, when they're leaving each other, that's the problem. But we're just talking about the benefits of when they are still in love and still married and staying married.
Still in love.
And staying married forever. Because if we're going to talk about that one, that's like a topic for another day. So I know
some men would easily say,
I'm sorry, can we take it one after the other? Easy first, then Big Chief.
So sorry, it was just a comment. I was just gonna say this is why some men think marriage is a scam.
Marriage is not a scam. I disagree. It is we, the people in the marriage, that are scamming ourselves.
Obviously.
So marriage is a beautiful thing, it's a beautiful union. But we are so deceived. What's English now? Help me.
Deceptive.
Thank you. I can't even, for some reason, my teeth is gone. You know, we are so unloyal, we are so wicked, we are so selfish, and it just has to be me, not about us. And that's why marriage becomes, like poison. But marriage itself, it's beautiful. It's not a scam. It's we, the human being involved, that are scam. Big Chief, sir.
Yeah, what you're saying is it happened to my friend.
Can everybody hear Big Chief, or is it just me?
Yeah, it happened to my friend. He married this lady. They loved themselves. They did everything. He made investments. When they separated, she became even meaner than the enemies. They were arguing back and forth. I just told him, give her the house. He gave her the house, told the lawyer, give her everything so he can have peace. So if a small boy sees this, he's scared to get married. So to a man, it looks like everything is at risk. It's time bomb. He doesn't know when it's going to explode because nothing favors him.
And that is why, to be honest with you, Big Chief, and to everyone, actually, the way things are now, because even the Bible says the heart of a man is wicked, who can know it? And when the Bible says the heart of a man, it's not about the male species, it's about human being generally. So even if you are getting married with all the loving, also have to use your common sense. If you don't feel very comfortable, I mean, you need to know somebody, marriage or no marriage. You need to be in the union for a couple of years and understand this person you are dealing with before you can release all your finances or your life and put it into their hands. You need to know, okay, this person is trustworthy, financially and otherwise. I mean, to some certain degree, before you want to begin to do everything, join. Because the person you are joining with can twist your leg and break everything, and at the end of the day, you might be getting out of it without a penny, from stories we have heard and seen. So as beautiful as marriage is, as beautiful as we want to be in it and all that, we also need to learn from other people and be smart about what we are doing. I'll go back to Sister Anna.
Okay, so we have employment benefits. So maybe if something happens to your partner at work, you as a wife can be entitled, or the husband can be entitled if he's also affected by what happened. If there's an illness, maybe your wife or your husband has cancer, you are able to get leave from work and
paid leave or unpaid?
It depends. You can take leave. It depends on the job you have. It depends on the contract you're with your work, and it is something that will be considered because it's your wife. You also considered, maybe when there's a retirement plan, the wife is also considered. Compensation. I have a lady who she had 12 children or 13 children with her husband, and he worked in Tilbury, and he fell off of the container head, and he then died. And the youngest child was just 1 month old then, and they had to pay because it was a casualty that happened at work. So she was entitled to compensation because she was married to him. He also had a second wife who was not in the country, who also had around 6 or 7 children in Nigeria. Obviously, she couldn't get a penny. I think they had the same amount of kids anyway. They were probably doing,
competition.
So she now got, I think, this was talking around 2002 or so. She got £7,000 for each child that she had. Then she also had money that she got. So they had hundreds of thousands of pounds then. And then obviously they went to go and buy a house. All the kids, they bought cars, they opened businesses. To date, they are still benefiting from the father's death of many years ago. It gives them a very good start. So that's one of the benefits of also be married, because had it been she was not married, she would not even get anything. She would not get a single thing. So that's one of the benefits of
Question.
Big Chief say he has a question.
Okay.
When she had all this profit and this benefit, what about the other woman and the other children? Are they not also the man's children?
Yeah, you see, because you can only be legally married to one person in this country. Do you understand?
Yes.
So
yes.
Another wife will not even be taken into consideration, because you can only have one legal wife. You can only, even in Africa, you can only have one court.
So it's not left to that woman if she wants to have the Spirit of God to support the other woman or not. It's left to her.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Western law then. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on, Sana.
We are not Western.
So we also have medical benefits. Maybe in hospital, they have visiting rights. They have the right to, be there and have restricted visiting hours. They have the right to make medical decisions on their spouses, whether to leave the life machine on or to turn it off. They have also after death benefits of maybe filing for autopsy, and for other procedures, for making burial arrangements and final arrangements. And also they have family benefits. So when it comes to children left behind, some of these children are not from that particular person. Maybe they are stepchildren. They also have the right to file as a step parent or joint adoption, even when they are still alive. So if you're married, you can file for, to be a step parent to that child, to have joint parental responsibility on that child, even though the child is not actually
Yes.
biologically yours.
So what you're saying now is that it's not enough to just say that's my stepson. You might still not have a legal right over them unless it's being put in paper.
Yes, you do not have parental responsibility.
Okay.
A lot of people, they do adopt their stepkids. So if anything happens legally,
they are responsible.
They have a right on that child.
Okay.
Yeah. So, child support as well. They will be able to receive child support, spousal support, child custody. If maybe your wife has started to use drugs and she's on the streets, you're left with the kids, you have the right to apply for the custody of that child. You are married, you're still, in the same, using the same name and everything. So a lot of other things like housing benefits as well, as they also said, it's not only the men that lose sometimes. Sometimes if the woman is richer, and can also lose lose the home. It just depends on how the court sees it. And other things is consumer benefits, like receiving lower family rates on health, on home ownership, on different type of insurances, like let's just say life insurance. If it's both of you that's applying together, there'll be a reduced amount,
okay,
for the life insurance as well. And also it can be a higher amount that will be paid out. That will be paid out. So if I'm doing my own by myself, I get 100,000. He's doing his own by himself, 100,000. It might be if they do it together, they will decide 500,000. So there's that benefit as well. There's also benefits of legal protection, legal benefits. And protection. So you're able to sue somebody for doing a wrongdoing to your spouse. You're easily able to sue. Let's just say maybe a car accident or anything, you have the right to sue the other person, even if your partner does not. Let's just say he lost the use of his legs. You will suffer the most, or he lost the use of his manhood. It affects you even more than him. You won't be able to have kids. You won't be able to sleep with your partner. So through that way, you are also automatically able to apply for so many things for your spouse. Even if it was the man and maybe your wife's face is ruined, you're like, I don't feel the same way no more. I've lost the attraction I had for her. You can apply, you can sue the other person. Third party suing is allowed if you're married. It's something that you cannot have if you're not married. So there's so many other things, so many other things that you can benefit from that, especially even this government. If you're married, they'll give you some kind of marriage allowance. I think it's one-off payment anyway. Even if your partner dies and he leaves the house to you, you don't have to pay inheritance tax. So between husband and wife, you can give each other houses and leave each other properties without paying inheritance tax. Whereas if it was maybe your child or something else, you have to pay. Or if you're giving it to your mother or your cousin or stuff like that, other family members, you have to pay a lot of estate tax and gift tax and inheritance tax on the property. So those are just limited to a few of the rights and benefits of being married.
Thank you very much, Sister Anna. God bless you so much. Do we have any other question in the house? Any other addition, contribution before we wrap it up? Okay, I think it's all clear. I'm just going to summarize this by saying, whatever we're doing now, let's remember the next generation. I keep saying that every now and then because...
Sorry, moderator.
Yes, sir.
Can I quickly ask this from our legal advisor, please?
Yeah, go on.
Let me take you back home to our home country, Nigeria, and a family. I don't know whether you know more about that. And yeah, I mean, there's this family that let me say the father had 3 wives, and at the end of the day, before the father died, he has lost 2 of his wives and remaining 1. And the one that remains in the house now takes possession of virtually everything. Do you understand? But fortunately and unfortunately, before the dad's death, he had already discussed 1 or 2 things with with one of the son, which was partly the properties that he's going to leave behind. But because the wife is the only one that was with him as at that time when he was alive, the woman now refused to allow anybody within the property and to have access to whatever the man has. Is there any legal implication or anything that can be done?
Sorry, can I first ask, was there a will written?
No.
Okay, so it's a jamboree then. Sister Anna, over to you.
First of all, it needs to be established whether she is a legal wife. Because in all of his 3 wives, he might not have legally married any 3 of them, or he legally married just 1 of them.
Yeah,
so
one of them was legally married, but she's late.
Exactly.
So this particular one is not a legal wife?
Yes.
It's just by traditional wedding or something.
So it's not legal, no, yeah.
Okay.
It's not legal. If it's not legal and she did not have a will, the son has as much rights on the properties and as I say on everything as the other wife. And we also need to know whether she had a solicitor or a lawyer who was dealing with anything. Or
no.
Okay, but
the only thing that the son can establish is just because of the discussion between him and the dad, and along the line, before he could click to his brain, he had a recording, but the recording is not that clear to use it as an establishment of what the dad discussed with him.
Okay. Another thing again is this. Sorry, Sister Anna. Sometimes, relationship between husband and wife, the wife might be involved. I don't know. Obi will clarify. Might be involved in his business. Might be the one helping him to issue checks. Maybe when he was sickly, the wife was the one doing so many things. Maybe when the son is not around, so she knows the in and out of things, and she can easily make claims to things. But if she is not a legal wife, I believe that the son has a stronger hold, and has a stronger right to fight.
That's the angle in which I want to try and seek for advice for that friend that, okay, being the son, does by virtue of whether legality or no legality, does the son has any right to now take a stake or to take a decision on whatever the father has left behind?
Yes, he can bring all evidence he has to court, the recording, everything. The fact that he even has children, he would 100% be taken into consideration. And if he has enough properties, I don't believe he would have put all his names on it. I believe that if you can tell the wife to bring out all the documents and properties, he would have left some properties and put names of his kids on the property. Because I don't believe a man would just do all these properties in his name. He might have, put names of his children on the property, but you won't know because the woman is hiding all of the documentation.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
As long as he's a legit son, he can fight to any headlines.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's blood, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I heard now from what our brother is saying, that the woman that is alive is not even married.
Yes.
And from what this our other friend said, she said it's not legal. I'm trying to clarify something. I think we're mixing up things. If he's done something traditional for that woman, she is married. We're Africans. The traditional marriage for us, to me, is stronger than these other things. It's because we are confused and arguing. That's why we choose other things above our
sorry,
traditional
Bichi,
marriage.
I understand where you're coming from, but does this, because it's not written in paper, the traditional marriage, can it be taken to court?
There is something, court is still, the westernization is what is killing us. There is something the children of Jacob knew, that they did not argue with Joseph. And Joseph is the 11th son from 4 women. Those things those people know at that time, we need to know it now. Your brother is your brother. Your father is your father. If my father goes to meet another woman, doesn't stop me from being my father's son. All this legal and no legal is because we are programming ourselves to argue with ourselves. My own father died recently. I took all my brothers from the other women and put them together. I have the right to chase people up and down. And we share the thing equally. You take this, you manage this, you manage that, like that. It's because we design our brain to argue with ourselves. That's why we're looking for court marriage, church marriage, and all sorts of things. Our ancestors married in the village squares, and they live without the kind of problems we're having now.
But Big Chief, do you understand that? Yes, then they did that, but now, like you said, our system, everything has been westernized. So whether we like it or not, I don't think Sister Anna will help me out with that. That she can go to court and say, yes, I'm a wife, but do you have any document to prove that you were married?
It is a wicked woman, and just say it the way it is.
Sister Anna, any other addition?
Yeah, what I wanted to reply to him about is that, as I was reading before, there are certain laws that protect married people. And I'm not saying that if you're married traditionally, you're not married. But according to the law, we're talking about legally, she does not have more right than the son, because the court only recognizes, most of the time, legal marriages. It's like people that are coming from Nigeria, doing partner, dependency. When they go to the embassy, they say, where is your marriage certificate? They say, where is the picture you used to give this mother's family a goat, or this yam you gave them? That's their concern. They are asking for legal documentation. They're not asking whether you did traditional marriage or not. We are not disputing that it's not marriage. We are just speaking on legally what the law says. So I think that's where you are confusing it. Yes, she's a wife, but because she's not a legal wife, she has missed out on some opportunities, which is what I was reading to you then, that a woman can stay with a man for 17 or 18 years, when it comes to her applying for certain things or trying to claim compensation for her husband or trying to do third-party compensation, they're not going to answer her unless she has to now prove that the relationship was that strong, and it takes longer. But it's much easier if they were just married and the certificate is there, nothing to prove, no case to answer. You understand? So that is just what it is.
Thank you very much. Obi, are you satisfied?
Yeah. I mean, I've been able to pick one or two things, and I'll convey the message, because I mean, he has been going up and down trying to seek for advice before he eventually opens up the family meeting. But as Shazali said, yeah, we'll see what we can do, and we'll see how
God
we
will
can
see
go
him
about
through.
it. Yeah.
I'm going to leave us with this word. If you're going to leave a legacy. Make a mark on the world that cannot be erased. So when we're leaving inheritances, let's leave something that is much more than the physical inheritance, than the money, than the property. Let's leave a legacy, something that will be remembered for, that cannot be erased, a memory, a helping hand, a personality, something, let's leave a legacy. Let's leave a mark in this part of the world that we are, wherever we find ourselves. Living a legacy also can mean imprinting values in our children. So even when we pass on, whatever we've taught them lives on in them. If you've taught your child to have resilience, to have empathy, you have left a legacy. He carries on with that. We've taught our children to be kind. Like this woman we're talking about, how was she brought up that she's so wicked when the man has other children and you want to sit on everything just by yourself. So let's teach our children legacy, empathy, leave something for them. That they'll remember also, say, oh, my mom, there was this one that said every time she wakes up hearing her mom praying. And there is no day she wakes up, anytime maybe she wakes up 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. to get ready for school, she hears her mom praying. And that will always be there to remind her as well to pray. If my mom is a prayer warrior, then I also need to pray. That will always ring a bell. So in everything we do, our children, they are watching. So as we are planning for living on a financial physical inheritance, let's also think of a legacy of love. We're talking about marriage being a scam now. It's because we, the human being, let's leave a legacy in our marriage. Do I want my child to have the kind of marriage I have? Or do I want my child to have a better one? What are we leaving behind? What is our children watching? I've seen a daughter who said, I hate men. Yet the only man in her life is her father. And she says she hates men. What legacy has the man imprinted in her heart? I've seen where men also would say, I will never marry, because they've seen things, So in our living world, in our living all the goodies of life, let's leave a good legacy. Let's teach them even about Christ. That's a legacy. As Christians, let's tell them about Christ, about the kingdom of God. Let's imprint that in their hearts. There's so many. How do I know how to read the Yoruba Bible? Because my mom will always say, read the Bible to me. Read the Bible to me. So I will say it anyhow until I will read it. She'll correct me. Until now, I'm very good. I can read Yoruba Bible. I can write Yoruba and all that. Because why? My mom kept saying, read the Bible to me. Read the Bible to me. So those are the things our children will also remember us for. What are the good things your children can remember you for? Can they remember you? My daddy used to beat my mommy. My mommy used to shout at my daddy. Is that the only thing they can remember? Let's leave a good legacy. God bless us. Thank you all for joining, Sister Anna. You are most appreciated. God bless you for taking out time.
You're welcome.
Obi, thank you for your contribution. Big Chief, God bless you. Everyone on Facebook, thank you all for joining, and God bless you all. EC, Thank you. Mommy Elbert, God bless you, ma. She's always there, even as tight as she is. She always jumps in and out. God bless you all. Who again is there? Some have been in and out. Prince D, thank you so much. From next week, we're gonna be having prayer. It's for I think we have just 3 more weeks before the year runs out. So all we're gonna be doing is praying and praying. And this is the 5th year I've been doing this talk show. So in between the remaining 3 weeks, we're going to be celebrating that and giving thanks to God for keeping us this far strong and moving on. There are days I don't feel like doing it. There are days I'm tired. I encourage myself. I just get the word out there. So we're going to be giving praise to God. And also this month is my birthday. So we're going to be celebrating that as well. And from next year, 2014, it's not gonna be every 2 weeks anymore, or every week anymore. I'm gonna be changing it to
2024 host.
2000. Did I say? I said 14, which is well with me. At least I remember 4. 2024. It's gonna be twice a month, not every week anymore. Keep laughing at me, Anna. It's gonna be twice a month. So we might extend the time, but at least we'll have a bit of break, and I also can go and do some other things with my time. All right. Until next week, be ready to pray. God bless us all and good night. Love you all.